Hello, 'tis I. Welcome, Rob here, and it is just gone 7 p.m. here in the UK. It's episode 238 of the ProSynth Network live show. Welcome along. If you have just tuned in to us for the first time, maybe you've been attracted by our special guest this week, welcome, and please do give us a like and a subscribe and a click and all of that stuff as well. That'd be fantastic. Keep the noise down in the background there. Jeez. Right. Before we crack on, because we've only got our guest for the first half of the show, so I want to get all this rubbish stuff out of the way first. Let me just please ask you, could you give us a like or a dislike? It's entirely up to you. No, we don't appeal to everyone, I'm sure. So please give us a like or a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you want to comment during the show, please do so in the chat windows of YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, wherever you're watching us. If you're watching us in the future sometime, then please do use the comments section underneath. Sorry, I was getting a bit of feedback there and it kind of put me off. Right. And if you know somebody who would like to watch this show and isn't already familiar with what we do, then share the link around. That'd be fantastic if you could do that. This channel is brought to you by you. We do it for you, and you lovely people fund us and help keep us going. Pays the bills for all of this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to mute someone's mic because I think it's there we go. You can fund us by joining us over our Patreon page, patreon.com/ProSynth Network, and if you join that page, it's a minimum of $2 a month. You get access to early videos, you get access to exclusive videos. You also get access to things such as patches for various hardware and software synthesizers. This is what the page looks like if you want to join us over there. You can sign up. Oh, who's that ugly? So there's an exclusive video right now that this will go public shortly, but we gave our Patreon subscribers an exclusive look at Andrew going through the Bob Moog Foundation raffle prize, which is that wonderful mini Moog signed by Peter Gabriel, restored by Kent Spong, and there's loads of other great content on there. So if you subscribe to us on the Patreon channel, you not only help us keep on air, but you also get some cool stuff. And you can do the same with YouTube memberships. So again, it's just a minimum $2 a month. There is no obligation to do it whatsoever. We'll keep on doing this as long as we can, but it does help pay the bills and keep the wolves from the door. Thank you very much indeed. We're also across all of the social media platforms: Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Yes, TikTok. So come and join us there if that's the place you like to hang out. So thank you for your patronage over at those places. If you have a question for anybody on the panel today, whether it's myself, Kent, or Andrew, or our wonderful guest who I shall introduce shortly, can you make sure that you stick a big capital Q in front of your message before you post it into the chat? That way it helps us identify it and stick it to one side and then get to it as soon as possible. So we've got a brilliant guest for you today, first half of the show. Then we'll talk some new stuff in the second half of the show. We've also got a brand new segment to launch today. We're just going to give it a go and see what happens. I'm sorry, I'm just going to do that and then do that. There we go. It's all clicked back in. It was always a little bit fuzzy. I thought it was my eyes, but there we go. Right, okay, before we get to our wonderful guest, let us bring in somebody with a guest that we didn't already know that was there. Kent Spong with Noah. Hello, yeah. Noah, although Noah can't hear us, deaf as a post.
No, I just had to have a quick whiz downstairs. He got himself into a little bit of a bind.
Oh, bless him, but he seems okay now.
Yeah, he's all right now. Yeah.
Good. How are you, sir?
Tired.
Okay. You're doing a bit of are you doing a bit of synth stacking mathematics under there? So it's at 2600 and the 3200.
Yeah.
So that's a 5800.
Probably.
So yeah. There you go.
Probably. Yeah.
All working?
So far so good.
Excellent.
There's a little bit of balancing done needed on the filter on that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think they're almost ready to go. Ready to go out the door.
Lovely stuff.
Finally.
Good. Well, somebody is going to be challenging you in just a moment with synth backgrounds. I've gone Matrix Brute, with that. That's my effort. It pales into insignificance against somebody else's. Before we see that wonderful background, oi,
What?
get back! Honestly, what's going on with your camera?
Never mind my camera. Look at
You're
my
broadcasting from 1993.
Look at this. Look.
Wow,
It's not doing anything.
very bad. Anyway,
dear.
how are you?
I'm good. It's been a good week.
Good.
It's
Glad
been
to
a
hear
very,
it.
very good week.
Excellent stuff. Good. Well, let's crack on because we don't have much time. Let us introduce our very special guest. He's been on the show before. We absolutely love having him on because he's just a genius, a wonderful human being, and he's got a fantastic collection of synthesizers, many of which he displays on the Meme Tune program. This is the 2024 annual. It's available, I think, still, although he will tell us if it's not. But it's brilliant. It's one of those kind of traditional annuals that you used to get at Christmas time, end of year sort of thing. And it's got loads of brilliant photos and brilliant write-ups. And it comes with a code to download all of the music featured on the show. Can't really get it into shot there, but there you go. You can't use that code because I've already used it. It is the one and only. You might know him as Benge. We know him as Ben. It's Ben Edwards, everyone.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
That is the background to win all backgrounds, I think.
Ah, yes.
That little thing.
What, this little thing I've got, this old thing.
Yeah. Hey, how have you been? It's great to see you.
Good. Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Are you keeping
been
busy?
Quite a while. Yeah, about 2 years, isn't it? Since
I know. Yeah.
2.5, something like that.
I said,
Yeah.
well, you're always welcome. So, anytime. So, have you been busy?
Yes, I've been very busy. I've been making my TV program, the second series, which is finished.
Brilliant.
And it takes so long to do. It's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. I think. It's like,
We love you. We love you for it. It's great.
I did the first sort of thing I did was make this short film to go in part of at the end of each episode. There's a thing called Video Lab.
Yeah.
And I had this idea of making like a short film to show as part of the program, and it took like 3 months just to make this 10-minute film. It was ridiculous. And by the end of it, I was just like, oh my God, I'm sick of this. I just want to sort of do something else now. So
Yeah.
but anyway, I managed to finish the second series and get the annual out, which you were just showing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then and now I'm actually started on series 3. So I've kind of changed the format a little bit, just sort of changed it up a bit, but getting on with that. Hopefully get the first episode out before Christmas.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, I'm definitely excited now because it is such a good show. It's irreverent, it's fun, it's nostalgic, it's informative, educational. It's like all of these wonderful things in half an hour, and then you get half a dozen episodes. It's a real treat. If anybody has not watched this wonderful channel, then I implore you to go right now. Well, maybe not right now, but maybe at the end of the show. The address for the channel is right here. It is youtube.com/@MemeTuneStudio. And you'll find all of the episodes from all of the series and a whole bunch of other stuff too. But, I mean, there are some incredible videos in here. And one of my favourite clips from, I think it was series 2, was when you were patching that thing that was sat behind you. You spent about 20 minutes or so patching it. And I'd never seen, I'd never seen anyone patch a 2500 from scratch. And it was just so delightful and so educational, informative. I mean, the 2500, is that like a centerpiece, would you call that, or is it kind of hidden away? Or
No, it's not hidden away. It's in the main room. My control room is like a mixing desk and all my recording stuff, but at the back and the sides it's just modular synth. So the 2500 is a very important part of what I do, and I've had it a while. I've had it a long time. In fact, I was cleaning all these. It's got these little caps on each slider, and when I bought it, they were all really dirty and sort of gunged up. And I was cleaning them all, and that's when I had the radio on, and I heard that's when Bob Moog had died. So it's that long ago. That's how long ago it was. But so it's kind of weird that I was heard that
Awesome.
sort of announced as it happened, sort of thing.
And I suppose we can't talk about the 2500 at the moment without kind of mentioning what Tom at Analog Solutions has done with his TC5000. Have you had a chance to look at that, and what do you think?
Yeah, I've seen the pictures and some of the videos. I think you put a video up from
Yeah.
The
Synth
that
Fest.
Synth Fest,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I was sort of fascinated to see how he approached it, because it's the weird thing about the 2500 is it's got this matrix system of patching,
Yeah.
so it's completely different to every other synth as far as I know. And it's really complex how it works. It's like a mechanical kind of nightmare to kind of to recreate, because obviously every kind of line has a connection to every vertical, so it's kind of the amount of wiring behind it is insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was kind of he's done it with pins, I think, hasn't he?
That's right. He's
done
used
it-
pin matrix.
yeah. So it's kind of a slightly different way of doing it. But I suppose the good thing about having this is that you kind of don't need multiples, because like each line is available to any input, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's quite a different way of patching and sort of thinking about synthesis. It's complete, and I think that's why he wanted to sort of to do it, really, is because I understand that his actual sound producing stuff is kind of the same circuits as he's used in his other synths, so they're not clones exactly of this.
No, they're
But
not.
what he wanted to do was take the kind of approach of this, and
The workflow.
Yeah.
the
It was all.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it was all about the interface, because when I spoke to him at the show, he made this quote, and I'm Tom, if you're watching, I know you do watch. I apologize if I get this slightly wrong, but you basically said that lots of people get wrapped up in this thing about it's got to be it's the type of oscillators you use, or it's the type of filters, or these kinds of envelopes, or those kinds of things, and manufacturers and developers kind of forget about the way we interact with all of that, and they don't make it obvious and simple. And the 2500 user interface is this brilliantly logical, color coded. It's a brilliant user interface, and that's what he really wanted to kind of pay homage to. And you say the circuits in all the units are his own designs. It's not a sonic clone. It's just he's cloned the user interface, which I think it's a very good thing to do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear some examples of it, really. So
Yeah, well, hopefully, because he's building them at the moment. Hopefully that's going to happen soon. We've spoken. I'm going to try and get him on, and a TC5000 as well, and maybe we can get some sort of
right. There's
that'd be
another
cool.
guy doing clones, actual clones. I think the Moss Lab guy in France.
Yes,
I think
that's right.
He's got a system that he's done, and obviously Behringer did a kind of a scaled down version of it.
That wasn't that with AJ Synths. What's his name?
Yes,
yeah.
it was, and
Nice guy,
it's
by
quite,
the way.
Yeah, it's quite a nice sound, although it doesn't have any of the matrices or patching. So it's basically just visually it looks a bit similar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's been brave enough until now to actually try and replicate the entire thing. And
No.
Tom's now done that, so, I mean, I don't know whether he would ever consider doing modules that were based on, those original Alan Perlman designs, but who knows? And he's also doing he's doing wings for them as well. He's doing wing cabinets, so that's going to be really... I'm not sure if he's doing the keyboard at all. How is the keyboard on a 2500? Is it a useful thing, or is it a little bit...
I never use it because I'm a really rubbish keyboard player, even though I've got like loads of keyboards. I'm a kind of one finger, just play the black notes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe put a white note occasionally. But,
That's jazz.
Yeah, the white notes.
Yeah.
When they mix the white notes and the black notes, that's jazz.
That's just no one does that. That's just you're talking lunacy now.
I know. So I use it as a kind of with the sequencers, and you can kind of trigger it externally and everything as well. So I kind of do it like that. But the keyboard, it's got two keyboards actually. It doesn't look like it, but the black ones, they're reversed. So you got white. The black notes are white, etc. That one sends out a separate set of voltages and triggers,
Right.
and then this one is, you know, independent of it. So you could, in theory, play like bass part there and something
Gotcha.
else there.
I've
But
always
that's
wondered
even
why
more-
that's.
Because some people can actually play like keyboards with both hands, and
I know it's
amazing.
insane, isn't it? Insane. Yeah, I've always wondered why. You know what the purpose was of having that split, and yeah, now
Yeah, it's just so the CVs come up here on the patch bay, and you can patch the black ones to something, to everything, and the white ones to a completely independent set of
Excellent.
things.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, that's good, because we literally had a question just come in. Can Benge re-explain the meaning, function of the reverse coloured keys bit? And you've just done that, so
Right,
you
there you
essentially
go.
can
That's
route
it,
the two sections, and it's just a visual differentiation as to which bit's going where.
It looks cool as well.
There you go.
There's not many keyboards like that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And there's a couple of other modules that are totally unique to this system, which is this. It's called a mix sequencer. That one there.
Okay.
You see it? And what it is, it's like an 8-channel mixer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you sequence through the channels, so it's like a mixer, a mixer and a sequencer combined together.
Okay.
So what you could do, you could send it 8 different sounds, like a noise in channel 1 and a filtered oscillator in a channel 2, and then sort of sequence through them and make sort of patterns out of completely different sounds. It's totally amazing.
And then adjust the levels of each of those steps in the
adjust
sequence.
levels and change the order of them and things like that. So it's brilliant for doing sort of weird drum patterns and sort of percussive loops and things.
Yeah.
But it also it can mix CV signals as well, so you can also use it as like a sequential switch. So you can take the outputs of the sequence. There's 3 rows to the sequencer, and you could put like row 1 in channel 1, row 2 in channel 2, and then sequence through it. So you'd get like 16 steps. Actually, you'd get 20, because they're 10 steps long.
Okay, I was going to say how many steps, because it didn't look like 8, and it certainly didn't look like 12. So 10.
No,
Wow.
it's so weird. It must have just been some, when they built it, they must have had a chip that had like 10 steps to it from some computing thing.
That was the
And they thought,
limit.
well,
yeah.
And it's really handy, because I love doing polyrhythms. So you could set like an 8-step sequence against a 9-step sequence, and then get these kind of weird polyrhythms going and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
that's cool. Yeah, absolutely. What is that to the right, to your left? There's a big stack of mod. Yeah. What's that next to
that's
the
a surge. That's
the
a surge.
surge.
That's the surge paper face.
Paperface?
Yeah. And then there's a mod.
Look at that.
A mod can. Can you see that over there?
Yeah.
Well,
And then an emu. That's an emu there.
I met the
And,
inventor of that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's my weird Roland. I've got.
Oh yeah, I love that features. I mean, all of these feature in the meme tune program. But yeah, that was a great clip where you used all of those just on their own. That was amazing.
Yeah, because I just sort of put that system together last year, and it was really fun doing that, and learning that, because I'd never had a System 100 before. It's amazing that the sound of those early Rolands is just fantastic.
Yeah, you agree with that, don't you, Kent? You're a big fan of that sound. You're muted, by the way.
I mean, they
Am I? No.
they
now you're
sound
unmuted.
Yeah.
they sound really Rolandy, but they're kind of also I don't know, even more Rolandy than normal.
Extra Rolandy.
They've got extra Rolands in them.
Excellent. Awesome. And then on top of the 2500,
that's a Formant, a German sort of weird German
look at that.
synth from the late 70s. It does sound great, actually. It's very
Every
sort
space
of
is,
very sort of Moog-ish in a way. It's got great oscillators and filters,
excellent.
but it's kind of cranky, because it was all handmade by people that did it at home, like sort of DIY back in the day.
Little cottage industry.
Yeah, and it's really kind of badly wired, so every time I use it I get like electrocuted.
Oh wow.
But it's, keeps it interesting.
Amazing.
Sort of fun.
Well, I know you've we spoke yesterday, and you said I'm going to try and get something. So you've got something for us to play on the 2500. We'll do that in maybe just a little while, just to make sure that everybody comes into the show. But I just want to ask you about who you've been working with, because not only are you an artist in your own right and a producer, but you work with other artists and bands, and I think you've had just recently somebody incredibly well known within the electronic music community with you.
Yeah, who would that be? Yeah, I've John Fox. Yeah, John Fox.
So is this a new John Fox and the Maths album?
Yes, it's album number 6, I think it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the first person I ever worked with and did an album with vocals
really?
on was with John.
Oh
back
wow.
in, about 15 years ago, I guess, more maybe.
Yeah.
So he's been down doing new stuff, and it's brilliant fun doing that with John.
Yeah.
He's always amazing to work with. So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I get to work with some of my heroes. I know people say you should never meet your heroes, but that's total rubbish.
Yeah.
I think meet as many heroes as you can.
So, what's your capacity within that particular recording? Are you just producing, or are you programming?
Co-writing it. Yeah.
Oh wow, co-writing.
Yeah, it's a co-write, and I tend to like doing that. I don't really do just production jobs. I sort of used to do that, but I just didn't ever get very satisfied out of that. So I kind of now insist that if I work with someone that we're gonna sort of co-write in the studio. And do it that way. It's much more fun for everyone. So yeah.
So your writing process, is it? Do you have anything? Do you bring? Does John bring demos in? Do you bring demos in, and then you work on them?
It's different with different people actually. Everyone's sort of slightly different. And with John, on this one he's demoed a lot of the tracks, and then at home on his laptop and sort of sent them to me, and then I've worked them up a bit in the studio here with drum machines and replacing all the plugins, because I kind of don't really like plugins very much. I kind of prefer.
I can tell.
Yeah. So if there's a plugin on it, then that's gone. Straight away. First thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll just redo all the sounds here, and then add bits of my own, and top lines and synth sequences and things like that, drum parts, and then he comes in and we spend a few weeks doing vocals, adding bits together, and just having fun in the studio, because that's kind of what I love doing, and it makes it kind of more exciting in a way for the album. And this album's actually got guitar on it as well.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's Robin, who was in Ultravox, is playing guitar on it, and he came down as well, so that's cool.
Nice.
So then I've been working with Wrangler, which is one of my other projects, which is Mal from Cabaret Voltaire and Phil from Tongue, and that's a kind of long-term project as well. This is our 4th album, which is nearly finished, which is very, very cool. Slightly different approach there, because we do tend to write everything in the studio together. They don't bring stuff along. I might start with some sketches on this album I did quite a few sketches on modulars, just really kind of abstract sort of sounds and loops and sort of things like that, and then they come down, put in their part and put vocals on, and so that was that. And I worked with Neil. I also worked with Neil Arthur, who was Blancmange. He still does Blancmange, and I do that with him, so I'm kind of half of Blancmange now. And we've been doing that for years as well now, so that's fun. And then me and him do a project called Fader as well, which is like a slightly more minimal kind of sounding thing to Blancmange, which is we're just working on our 4th album now. So it's kind of just ongoing things like that. And another band that I do called Oblong, which is completely instrumental stuff.
Because that's when I saw you last, was when you were supporting Neil as Blancmange in Colchester. Cool. Yeah,
of course. It's such fun doing those support gigs and playing out again, because it had been a while since I played drums when I'm in that band, and it's just really, really nice to be out there and doing it in front of people again, rather than just cramped in the studio and hiding from everyone.
What about any solo work? I mean, you're working with all these other people. Have you got anything solely that's just you?
I've got loads of stuff, but I tend to do them on my Bandcamp page, which is, you know, digital only download versions of my albums. So, and I do my solo albums as Benge, and I do this series called Forms, which is I tend to try and take one system, like one synthesizer system, and do a whole album on it. And I've done like 15 of them or something. So they're all different systems basically, but it's kind of a bit like I did an album called 20 Systems years ago that was one track per synth, 20 synths. It was kind of inspired by that, but taking it a lot further so that there's a whole album on one synth essentially.
That's cool.
So they're all up on my Bandcamp, and some of those are quite abstract. Like, you know, there's a couple of albums that don't have a single melody or beat on it or anything. It's just completely random noises coming in and out, and it's much more experimental, some of the stuff I do there. Because I can no one's sort of telling me what to do, you know. I can just do whatever I want, which is sort of not always great, but I love doing it.
Well, it's you just getting a chance to do what you want. There's the Bandcamp page. If anybody hasn't already gone in there and availed themselves of all of this wonderful material, there is lots of it there. And I say one of my favorites is this one, which is 20 Systems. And I think every time I see you, I tell you this, because I'm obviously a big Fairlight fan, and this is the only time I think I've ever heard a piece of music that uses the additive synthesis within the Fairlight, and you don't even touch the sampling.
No. And it's got such a great synthesizer engine in it. It's way more, for me, it's way more interesting than the sampling. It's incredible.
Because what you've done there it was kind of an evolving piece, wasn't it? You just kind of allowed things to kind of just go around. It was and as you can see, look at the systems that are on there. I mean, it's amazing.
That's a very old album now. That's like almost like a vintage album. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's only £7 on your Bandcamp, but of course you can do the full digital discography for a mere 125. You get 40% off so you get everything. It's like 40 releases.
There's a book when you buy the CD version of 20 Systems, there's like a 50-page booklet that comes with it, and it kind of has a bit of information about every synth in there and stuff. It's like
I made sure I got the hardcover one with that. That's brilliant. It's a really lovely little package. This is another great, but I don't know if I think the physical one has all gone, hasn't it? Of the
we sold out of those. That's gone now,
I managed to get hold of one of those, and it's it's such
cool.
A brilliant broad range of stuff. In one lovely big vinyl box set, which I really
very
enjoyed.
proud of that.
You should be. It's a great box set. So people, go over to zachdagobah.bandcamp.com. We'll put the link in there somewhere up on screen or in the description in just a little while. But go and avail yourself of some of that stuff. Boys, I mean, I've been dominating our guests for a while. Ken, Andrew, do you have anything that you want to ask the guest today, Mr. Spong?
You mean to tell me that 2500 is still working?
You had that in your workshop when I first got it. You had it for a while, didn't you?
Well, you just bought it from
Don
Larkin, wasn't it?
Don Larkin, yeah.
Oh, Don, I know Don.
It was a bucket of bolts.
He was so he had two of them actually.
Yeah.
I could only afford one of
them.
One
Does.
Well, I ended up with the other one as well. They both turned up.
Yeah.
Same week, didn't they?
Yeah, because I think didn't Hans buy the other one?
No, it was a chappie It was a guy called Hans, but it wasn't. It wasn't Hans. There was some geezer in Belgium, I think it was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there were two identical systems, and and I could only afford one. Although it wasn't very much. I mean, it was a lot for me back then, but it was like the price of a ARP Odyssey, really. Now.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about, but it was that sort of thing, and and Don Larkin is like a total legend in the sort of music biz, and he sort of specializes in sort of studio equipment like mixing desks and things
That's
like
it.
that, and
Yeah.
he'd done a studio clear out, and these things were in it, and he didn't know what they were. He thought they were weird mixers or something, and
Yeah.
he also had a 4-voice which I bought, and that was like 600 quid or something. No, 400 quid I think.
Yeah.
400 quid for a 4-voice, beautiful 4-voice that
Bonkers.
is over there, and it is. Yeah, so that day, and I didn't expect to be getting a 4-voice. I kind of went to collect this ARP, and I sort of said, "You got any other synths?" And he was like, "Oh, I'll have a look around," and he had that sitting there, so I got that as well. That was a good day.
I've got a Yamaha TX81Z that I got from Don. 75 quid. 75 quid.
That's
brilliant
right.
synth. Yeah.
And he's such a lovely bloke. He's really funny as well. He's a hilarious guy.
What I found was interesting when you said that you're not really a keyboard player, and you hardly use the keyboard, and yet you got me to rebush it.
Well,
Took bloody ages to rebush that. Bloody
Well,
thing.
while you're there,
You wouldn't sleep well at night if you knew that one part of it, even if you didn't use it, wasn't quite up to spec.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. One of the things that helped. I remember Ben phoned me up. He goes, "Oh, how's the art coming along?" I said, "Yeah, it's getting there." He says, "Oh, how much longer do you think it'll be?" I said, "Well, it still got a while because I've got some parts to get for it still." I think one of the VCAs, there was a VCA module that was cemented. It was just one block of cement. Yeah. And the IC in it had gone, and I was still digging her out so I could replace the IC. But one of the things that took the longest to get for it was one of the bulbs for the button for that bloody event sequencer.
Right. Yes.
Because it has to fit inside the switch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see that one there. Yeah.
No, on the
one-
we got the 8 push buttons on the
Oh,
on
that-
the
yeah.
on the Eventer. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 of them weren't working.
Right. Yes. That's right.
Bloody thing.
Yeah. I mean, it hadn't been used for like 20 years probably when I got it.
Ken,
Are they-
Oh yeah, it was a mess. It was. A
Are
mess,
those little
wasn't it?
bulbs the little ones that you kind of slot in? They're like a...
Oh, I wish.
No, okay.
No,
Fair
no,
enough.
no, no. They had long little filaments that you had to run to the back of the switch and solder.
Oh.
on. But they had
wow.
to be just the right. They couldn't be too long. They couldn't be too fat. And it was finding. I had all these bulbs that I'd bought and go, no, it doesn't fit. No, it doesn't fit. No, it doesn't fit. It's just,
Yeah, I was trying to find... Because the Fairlight keyboard, the buttons on the left-hand side, they've got these little bulbs inside them. And they're a weird design, and it took me ages to find some of those.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. But I was really fortunate because I'd never seen a 2500 before,
Right.
apart from in a picture.
Yeah.
You know, and because there was 2 in, I was able
Of
to
course,
go
yeah.
comparison between one and the other and find out why one
Yeah.
module wasn't working, why another module wasn't working, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I was able to get it. That was lucky.
I think
Otherwise,
I
you might never got the bloody thing back.
I got the better one because this one had the other one had like an extra oscillator, but this one's got this module which is like a whole voice, so it's got an oscillator, filter, and an amp, and an envelope in there in one thing. I think it's the first ever module, that's one complete synth voice in one module.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So it does actually help. It expands the system quite a lot having that in it.
Yeah.
Um,
But I must admit, there's a lot of things in there that look familiar.
Look familiar. What do you mean?
Yeah, that
What,
have been
terms-
here in some
Oh, in the studio.
form or
Yeah.
other.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All of it.
yeah.
So you've had the Surge. Definitely had the Surge.
Remember the Surge? Yeah.
That was probably before, because I built the cabinet for that myself. But
Yeah.
I put that together over many years.
Was one of the cabs of the Emu here as well?
Yep, you had the EMU for a while. Yeah, some of that. Yeah, definitely. Not the Roland. That's fairly new to me. Though.
No, that's fairly new.
I think you've had the Foreman. You definitely had the
Oh
Foreman.
yeah, I remember electrocuting
Yeah.
myself on that as well.
Yeah, it's
Bloody thing. Oh, mate,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a blind 4-year-old built that.
yeah, it was a German one.
It was. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it was awful.
So yeah, and there's stuff the other side of the room which you can't see, but
Mm.
you've had. Oh, there's a CS80 there that you
I was going to say there must be a CS80
It's
there.
gonna
that
be an
has
80,
hands
isn't
in. Yeah.
But you're trying to tell me that since I've done it, it's behaved. Nothing's gone wrong.
No, I mean I'm based
There must
down
be
in
something.
Cornwall. Yeah, I'm too far to bring it to you now. I'm afraid.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But
You can't fool me now, anyway.
No, you're welcome to come down here and bring your toolkit.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh dear. So we got a few questions from our audience. So I'm going to throw one or two of these at you. James Dyson, who wonderful sound designer, wants to know what is your newest synthesizer in your collection. So I guess that means the newest to you as opposed to the newest in terms of building.
Yeah, I tend not to buy new stuff as it goes. There's too much of it, and I kind of limit myself to the old stuff. But I think it's probably the System 100, because I basically got that at the end of last year and put it together in bits. So that was the last proper synth that I got, I think. And
it's a real
that
babe.
was quite an epic task. Yeah, it's weird because it's not in its normal cabinet. Like, I didn't do that. Someone else chopped it up. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That thing there is the sort of main two voices of synth, and then above it I got from somewhere else, and that happened to not be in its case either. So I kind of didn't mind in a way, because it's all in my own sort of style cabinet there, and that's an SH5 below it that is from the same period, so it's sort of all fits together very nicely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the most recent thing I've got.
Excellent. Icing the Body Electric. This is a big question, so bear with us. Can we ask Benge if his cybersynth stuff, and this is a segment within the Meme Tune program, also involved him investigating any of the formal literature on the subject? Sorry if it's too nerdy, been interested for ages. Because you went into sort of quite a bit of depth with some of these segments.
I think it's an amazing subject, cybernetics, and it's kind of a whole branch of science almost, or sort of philosophy. So there's a lot to sort of get your head around, but I kind of took one aspect of it, which was the core idea of cybernetics, which is you've got these self-regulating systems essentially that you can set up with a feedback loop in it, so that things can become quite wild and sort of out of control, but there's always something sort of bringing it back into certain realms so that it doesn't go to just spiral out into complete chaos. That's the sort of idea that I use in cyber synthesis, where you can set up on a modular, or so if you've got a flexible synthesizer, you can set up these sort of self-regulating systems within the synth that sort of self-compose things and self-regulate, so that I find that sort of thing quite interesting. But in terms of, you can use that concept of cybernetics that I just explained. You can apply that to anything, like society as a whole, or universes, or anything could be looked at with that core idea. So I tend to just sort of focus on the synthesizer side of it, really.
Because I guess it can. I'm sat here nodding along like I know what the hell you're talking about after, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
A clear example is a kettle, right? So you put a kettle on, and it will boil, and then as soon as it starts boiling, it switches off, so it doesn't just evaporate or explode. That essentially is cybernetics doing. Okay. That is the core to it. Right. It's having some kind of system that can self-regulate, so that it doesn't fly off into complete chaos or destroy itself. And in that sense, you can look at, like I said, societies have these feedback loops within them, and sometimes things go badly wrong and societies break down. That sort of thing. So I wonder if that's what they're referring to in that question.
Yeah, could be. I don't know if that. Hopefully, that's answered the question. Within the realms of the time that we have and the stuff. But it's fascinating stuff. Have you, when you do your Meme Tune program, you divide it up into these little kind of segments, and each of them has a specific theme. So you have digital synths, or the hybrid synths, and all that. What have you got lined up for Series 3? Can you give us any sneaky peeks on?
Yeah, I've got. So I did this section called Switched On, which is in the previous series, it sort of looked at types of synthesizers. Like the first series, it looked at monosynths, going into polysynths, going into digital synths, and then in the second series, it looked at cybernetics, cybersynthesis, and these sort of self-regulating systems. And then in this third series, I'm using so Switched On's going to be focusing on one synth in each episode. So I'm going through the 80s, basically, looking at like
cool.
a Korg Multipoly first, and then I'll do a bit more of a deep dive into that one synth. And then in the second episode, it'll be a different synth. I'm probably going to do like the Chroma, maybe something like that. Yeah. So I'll go through the 80s, looking at how these actual individual synths like work, how you program them, what they can do that's unique. Do some sound examples and patching examples, that sort of thing. So that's one section. And then there's another section called Patching Today, which is a modular synth from scratch. So each episode has me sitting in front of a different modular, and I'll just set up a patch from scratch and go through what I do to get the end result. And in this series, I'm using sort of cyber synthesis within that. So the patches that I'm trying to set up will be sort of self-playing things that have melodies that can sort of make decisions on their own rather than me doing absolutely everything. That's the idea. I'll see how I'll get on with that.
Can't wait.
And then, there's other things. There's a thing called Synthesizer Club, which is my T-shirt. There you go. And that is where I sort of try and get a little family of synths together, they're all made by one manufacturer, like say Korg synths from the mid 80s or something. And I'll do like one little track. It's only like a 3 or 4 minute piece. I'll just put a track together using those, just that one family of synths. So I'm just continuing with that in this series as well. Awesome. And then little black boxes, which is another section, which is focusing on those really annoying synths from the 90s where you have to program them through a little, with one button on it. There's one button and there's like 10 million options. So I'm looking at more of those as well in this series.
Awesome. I you did one in season 2 with the Yamaha stuff, which I obviously had a bit of a thing over. Used it was the SY70, the 7070 QX1. You had all those Yamaha things. It was just
and the drum machine, I think there was an RX5 or something.
That was.
But cool. They're really amazing synths, but they're so frustrating to use. You kind of you have to spend like a month looking at the manual and trying to figure out what's going on before you get anything. In fact, most people just use the presets. That's what happened, in the 90s.
It was just too difficult, wasn't it? If anybody wants to buy Benge's merch, like the T-shirts, again, all available on the Bandcamp page. T-shirts, the Synthesizer Club T-shirts, tote bags, button badges, books, where they're available. Volume 1's sold out. Volume 2 is still there. Original watercolor, that's sold out. There's a merchandise bumper pack there. All sorts of wonderful things. So go and visit the shop.
Did you say, Ben, you still have copies of the 20 synths?
20 systems, I've got a few. I've got about 20 left, weirdly, 20 systems.
Put one aside for me. I will grab it tonight.
All right.
I have no idea how much it is, but I'll grab that tonight.
I can't remember, but I'll put one aside,
Thank you.
Charge him double. He can afford it. Let's see. Have we got any more questions? Yes, we have. One from Steve, who goes under the name of Ixorb. When working on multiple projects simultaneously, how does Benge manage continuity/repeatability with modular synths, i.e. putting things back to where they need to be for each project? Do you take photos? Do you write stuff down?
I tend to try and finish tracks when I'm using a modular because it is pretty much impossible to come back to them. So I tend to set things up, finish it off, record off as much as I need and probably more. And then I like to unpatch at the end of a session or at the end of a project and just have it ready to go sort of from scratch again. But one thing that I have here is I've got a digital mixing console that has complete recall. So that's quite an important part of my sort of workflow is to be able to, because quite often I'll set up tracks and then record off all the modular stuff, like I said, and then 6 months later, like come back to it and do a different mix of it. But it's just really nice to be able to recall the whole project again like that. Because I don't work in the box, so a lot of people can do that now, obviously, if you're working in the box. But if you're not, you need a digital desk to be able to do that. So that's why I've got.
So what do you record to?
I was just about to ask that as well.
I go through my digital desk into with a thing called an Orion Antelope, which is like a audio interface, and then into Digital Performer, actually, weirdly, which is like, I'm probably the only person in the whole world that's still using it.
But it's a great piece of software.
It is. It's absolutely amazing, and it sounds brilliant, and I just know it really, really well now, and I've been using it since it first, well, pretty much, for all my whole career. So I think before that I was using an Atari with Notator on it, and that was the kind of one that seemed most similar back then when I kind of went over to Macs, and so I still use that. I mean, I've sort of updated it, well, I haven't updated it for about 10 years, but it's been updated at least 10 years ago, if not,
Yeah.
And it still works, it still does
Awesome.
exactly how I like to work on it, sort of thing. So
Nice. We've had a request in the chat. Would you just give us another glimpse of the EMU modular?
the EMU, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not switched on, so the light is not flashing at the moment, unfortunately. But there you go.
Look at the size of that.
There's an MS-20 in front of it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And a K Pro 2, which is.
Oh wow.
That's
very much like the one that was in Scotts Valley.
Maybe it's part of the.
But the one in Scotts Valley didn't have the top rack on top as well.
Oh, sorry, you're looking at the EMU.
Yeah.
There's not many like that, I don't think, in that sort of.
No, very, very few.
Yeah. I put that together from several different places, and I really lucked out getting the analog sequencer, because they are sort of very hard to find.
And is that all genuine EMU? Because there's Tom Wright who does the I suppose they're replicas, aren't they? He works closely with Dave.
Tony, you mean?
Tony,
Wright,
sorry.
Yeah. Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, he basically makes clones essentially of them, but there's one mod. I think I've got a couple of his analog solution. What's it called? Analog. He's got a kind of company name, Analog Systems, that he does, and there's a couple in there that are his, like the which ones are here? Yeah, he made a clone actually of the SEM in that format. So there's an SEM module in there that's his. But other than that, I think they're all original, and they're potted as well. So the on the back of each of those modules, there's a little plug-in box that has the components inside there, and they pot them, which means that they seal them up with resin, and you can't basically do anything. You can't, if they fail, then you can't fix them. Really,
I know.
Yeah, there is a way, apparently, isn't there?
Oh, there is. Yeah, but my God, it's long-winded.
Yeah, it's horrible. So
because I got a few of those EMU modules out in the garage where I've just got. Do you know what? Forget it, and just put them.
Yeah. But Tony, who did a lot of, he's got quite a lot of spares, and he's able to swap out. If I've had a failed oscillator, for example, and he just sent me a new pot thing to go on it. So.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I met him.
He's really cool.
The other weekend when we were down in Bristol for the show. Yeah, he was there with Dave Rossum, so that and we were there with all of our EMU samplers. Amazing. So it was a really cracking.
Got a question. Got a question.
Got him.
Yeah.
Ben, do you still have that horrible lump of tat, the EMS Poly synth?
What, you mean my favourite polysynth?
Yeah, that awful piece of carp.
I do. I love it. It's one of my favourite synths, I have to say. Not just because it looks absolutely amazing.
It does. Yeah.
It sounds so of its time. It's kind of totally limited and really rubbish, and it's not actually a polysynth. It's a paraphonic synth. So it's only got one set of filters and envelopes and things, but there's something about it. To me, it just sounds like late 70s Doctor Who. There's nothing else like it. And I've done a couple of my Forms albums using it, and the ones where I just use one system, and it's got this kind of quality to it that I really, really like. And I know I'm sort of mad because no one else likes them. It is actually famously the worst synth ever made, but actually I think it's kind of cool.
But because of that, it makes it unique and interesting, doesn't it? So,
It is,
admittedly, I'm coming from the point of view of having to repair.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh
This
god,
thing.
it's horrible.
Didn't you feature it in... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's got a big sort of power supply, like chunky sort of thing like that inside it, and it came loose, and it kind of wobbled about inside and smashed up all the kind of inside of it a bit. I think that's what you were working on when you had it.
Yeah, you literally come to the door and went, can you look at this? And as soon as I put my hands on it, you just ran away. See you later, Ken.
And it's got a really cranky keyboard as well, and it's really, it's got this keyboard right where you can press on it, and the whole keyboard moves down like that, and it sounds out like a CV voltage with that. So it's kind of got aftertouch almost. Yeah, but it's across the whole.
But they thought we'll have the whole keyboard do this.
It's just bonkers. And all the pots on it, right? All the knobs, instead of going like from 0 round to 10 like that, they're all upside down. So they go that way
go
round.
the other way round.
It's like what? Why? What?
Yeah. So it's actually easier to program it standing behind it and program it and then come back round. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like no, take it away.
Yeah. Everything about that synth is wrong. It's just wrong.
But it kind of makes it kind of special in that because of those sort of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a fan there in the chat there. Zachariah McConnell, that's a great name. Recently discovered the Mean Tune program. You're a true aficionado. Those videos are a pure joy. Couldn't agree more. And in fact, the Polysynth appears in, was it season 1?
The Polysynth in season 1, yeah. And I go through it because I go through the history of Polysynth essentially. And
that's it,
that's one of the featured instruments.
Brilliant. Well, look, we're getting close to the top of the hour, and I know you're going to leave us shortly. So why don't you put that glorious beast behind you? Let's have a listen.
It's just a kind of wonky sequence that I set up, so you can hear what it's like. I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yep. Brilliant. It's got such an amazing tone quality to it.
It's got a superb tone.
Yeah, it really is. And those filters, wow.
Because on those matrix panels, they go from 1 to 10, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why there's 10 steps in the sequencer.
Oh, is it?
Well, they go... Actually, there's 10 up there, and there's also 10 there as well, so there's actually 20 on the
Yeah, but that's why they did 10 step.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember who told me, but it was
I suppose so,
somebody while they were punching me in the face in a bar one night. Just mentioned it in passing.
Because Alan Perlman used to work at at NASA, I think, and he used to nick bits out of the kind of spares cupboard and
That's why Apollo 13 didn't.
yeah, it crashed.
Are you listening?
And that's
Peter?
why it's so hard to find
Yeah.
spares. Most of them are on the moon now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's even further than
Or in
Cornwall.
orbit.
Yeah. Quick question from Wagyu in the chat. Did Benge move from Nodnall to Cornwall, and what inspired that move?
What's Nodnall?
I have no idea.
London.
London. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Yes, I did.
right.
Yeah, I
was
moved.
the police,
I used to
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Why did I move from London? Because I found a really cool house, and I wanted to live in this cool house, and I
Okay.
just wanted to kind of escape London. I was in London for 20 years. Had my
Yeah.
studio there for 20 years, and it was cool doing that. But I kind of eventually got sick of the kind of traveling around on the train and driving around and getting like speeding fines everywhere. So I just decided to move to the middle of nowhere, basically, in this very remote
Fair play.
location. Yeah.
Talking and driving around, you still got the Lotus?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I sold the Lotus.
No.
Yeah, I sold that about a year ago, actually.
Oh, no.
It was just kind of, it was getting a bit rusted, and it was kind of, it's not the best place for it here, actually. The roads are kind of
Yeah.
really
I thought it was mostly
bumpy and
fiberglass.
There's a lot of fiberglass on it, but the paintwork still didn't like it very much.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't
yeah.
so much rusting; it was just the paintwork was kind of. But
You
the
got a
other thing
proper
was
one,
that-
mate.
The other thing
You got a
was-
Mustang. Yeah, so-
Yeah, I know that's so. The roads here have got like grass down the middle of them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it would sort of catch underneath the car because it's really low.
Yeah.
So
a
that was
shame.
another reason to get rid of it. But yeah, I do miss it. I do miss
Yeah.
it quite a lot.
Still my
actually.
dream to own a Lotus Esprit.
Yeah, it was
One
very cool.
day. Norfolk's finest.
The V8.
Going to replace it with anything? Classic?
Not yet. I don't know. Probably some point. Yeah. I need another PRS check to come in. So.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody get on that Bandcamp page and start buying stuff.
Yeah. I know Tiny wants to sell his Suga if you're interested.
Okay.
Oh, blimey. That's a beast.
Yeah, well,
Actually,
it's
that
more-
would be rather good down that part of the world, wouldn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
it's more a
that-
Russian military vehicle more than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah.
That could
Bonkers.
work. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Listen, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the
Well,
show.
thanks-
Thank you
thanks
for the.
having me. Thanks
No,
for having me.
literally, you're welcome anytime. Just give us a call or drop me a line. Thank you also for demonstrating the 2500. That's an absolute first for us.
Cool.
And I think I might clip that and stick it as a short on the channel if that's okay.
Yeah, it's nice hearing one again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
You sound amazing.
If you haven't already gone and liked and subscribed to Benge's YouTube channel, go and do that now. It's called Meme Tune Studio. The link to that, sorry, I'm going to put that on the screen, is right there. So it's youtube.com/Meme Tune Studio, and all episodes of both series of the Meme Tune program are there available, along with a whole bunch of other wonderful content.
There's a playlist actually. So if you go to the channel, see
There
where
you
it
go.
says playlist up there. Click on there, and there's a
There
playlist
we go.
for all those
Yeah,
episodes.
there we go. Meme Tune programs all there. Lots of, I mean, it's just brilliant stuff. And then if you want to listen to more of Benge's music, which I thoroughly recommend, you can then go to the Bandcamp page. There's 20 systems, but there's loads of other albums there, and you can download those digitally, including all the music from the Meme Tune series. So series 2 is right at the top there, and series 1 is down there. So you get all of the stuff that's produced. There's a lovely album with that wonderful colour scheme of the EMS. So
That's
yeah, if
made
you
on
want to
that.
listen, yeah. And of course, if you buy anything off the Bandcamp page, not only do you get to digitally download it, but you can also listen to it on your mobile.
And they
which is
all have.
very good.
I always make a little sort of PDF,
That's it.
booklet that goes with each release, and they're kind of unique to Bandcamp. So if you buy it, I don't think you get that unless you buy it, but none of them are that expensive. But you get
Yeah.
a little PDF thing to look through as well, because I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's always nice to have something to read while you're listening to it. Absolutely. And then there's the merch page as well, where you can buy this very book right here, which is brilliant. It's a great gift for Christmas, everyone. Do you remember when in the 70s you used to get annuals every Christmas? This is exactly like
You've
that.
got like a crossword puzzle, a spot
Yeah.
different, everything.
All the games are in there, all the features, loads of wonderful pictures. It's all printed on lovely glossy paper and a lovely hardback cover. And if you buy the annual, you get the album included as a download code, so you can go and get all of that stuff included. And there's lots of other gumph on there, t-shirts and badges and tapes and all sorts of stuff. So go and buy a few bits and bobs off of there. Benge, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
As always, it's a joy. Stay in touch, and good luck for the future. Oh, by the way, John Fox, who we spoke about earlier, he's going to be at Synth East in Norwich this February. Will you be there as well?
Possibly, yeah. I'm not planning that far ahead, but it seems like a long way away, doesn't it? But yeah, I tend to kind of follow him around a bit, yeah.
Excellent. Good. Well, hopefully we'll be able to catch up in person in February over in Norwich. Fantastic.
Excellent. All right, well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Edwards, everyone, thank you very much.
Thank
Big round of
you.
applause. Take care. See you soon.
Cheers.
And you'll have to come up again because I want to do another patio.
He's burying Fiona.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
See you later, bye.
There he goes. Ben Edwards. Oh, love Ben. What a guest. There we go. Talking of guests, we've got a guest announcement. I kind of alluded to it on our Facebook page. We'll mention our new guest coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. And I'm super excited about that one. Thanks to everyone for your questions. Most appreciated. If I didn't get round to them, I think we did one.
I have one, but we kind of ran out of time a little bit.
Well, you should speak up.
What? Kent.
Go like this.
Ken,
Anyway, yes, go.
What?
Ken, you said you had both 2500s in there, which he got from Larkins.
Yeah.
The other one you said went to someone in Belgium.
Or something like that, yeah.
Can I just ask, would it have been the band Prefab Brussels Sprout?
Oh, God.
Was it? I don't know. Was it worth the wait? I don't know. I'm trying to work it out. No, probably not.
Anyway.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Anyway, Andy Synchrotron, whose stream is tomorrow at 10 a.m, by the way. Everybody go and tune in for that. It's a lovely way to wake up on a Saturday morning.
Yes, it is.
PSN should get John Fox on this show. We absolutely should. And we're going to try.
What do you think I've been doing?
And that was kind of what we all were, or what Kent was working on.
Yeah.
To get Benge and John at the same time whilst John was there recording. But unfortunately, timings just didn't work.
Never
So
works.
John unfortunately couldn't make it. However, we've got an in. So fingers crossed that could possibly happen. No promises making, but we do have a brilliant special guest lined up for a couple of weeks' time. Not next week, but the week after. We'll tell you all about that in a minute. Some idiot's gone and donated some money. Thank you very much. It seems like,
What?
it's like sending coals to Newcastle. That
It's
isn't
like
it, really?
punching yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Having an argument in the mirror.
Thank you very much for that. Question from one of our moderators. Am I feeling okay? Just checking. Glad you are clearly out of hospital. Well, actually, I had everything brought in there. No, I'm fine. Thank you. I had to make an emergency visit to the hospital on what day was it? Wednesday, because of my dodgy ticker. But it's all good. And today has actually been a brilliant day because I've had hardly any of the issues that I was having for the rest of the previous week. So yeah, it's all hopefully under control for now anyway. But thank you for asking, Andrew. And Andrew, of course, is one of our lovely moderators in the chat who looks after all you horrible lot and makes sure that you all stay in line, along with Andy and Ben. I'm not seeing Ben in there yet, but then it has been whizzing past. But those three lovely people look after the chat and keep things organised. Not that they have to do that, because you're all very well behaved, aren't you? Thank you for that. We appreciate it. So we've got some news topics to talk about. We've also got... Actually, let's do this first, because I want to get this out there so that as many people get wind of it and join in. So what happened was last week we were very low on the news, and we were trying to, as we sometimes have to do, like fill and pad to get through to the end of the show. And I thought, well, let's come up with something that we don't have to put too much effort into, that will then fill up some time. And I thought, how about we ask our audience about the albums that inspired them, electronic music albums, or maybe not so much electronic music albums, but given that we are a synthesizer focused show, what inspired you to get into electronic music making? What inspires you to make electronic music? What are you listening to? More importantly, why are you listening to it, and what particular instruments on that recording speak to you in a musical way? And we're going to call this section of the show, we're not going to do it this week, but we're going to invite it, we're going to call this section of the show Synthsations. And we're not going to call it Synthsations. One job. Got the name wrong. Synthspirations, honestly. Yeah. We're going to call this segment of the show Synthspirations. What? Shut up.
I was just looking at the 55 going, we're going to call it that?
Yeah. Well, you know. Anyway, so Synthspirations is the segment of the show. This is what I want you to do as a viewer of the show. I would like you to record a video, and it only has to be a short, you know, maybe 3-5 minute video, maybe a little bit less. Just telling us, and maybe showing us, if you've got a copy of the album, you know, the original vinyl or the CD or something, tell us what it is about that record, about that album, or maybe the single, maybe it's just a single track that inspired you to get into making music with synthesizers. And was there a particular synthesizer or synthesizers on that album? So I imagine, you know, if somebody was a big Depeche Mode fan, they might say that, you know, that this, you know, maybe, I don't know, Music for the Masses was what got me into it, and it was all those EMU emulators. Or, you know, maybe it was Benge's album and it was the 2500 or whatever. Just do a little clip, and we'll feature that clip on the show, and then we'll... No, stop it, I'm talking.
Go on.
Right. Anyway. It's the only way you can do it now. So, film a little video, tell us who you are, what your handle is, so we can all recognise you. Tell us about the album, tell it, you know, what about the album you liked, what instruments that you liked, or maybe there was a piece of technological wizardry going on, you know, maybe it was using, you know, the first digital tape recorders or whatever. And then send that video in to us, and I'll put the address, the email address up shortly. Send that video in to us, and if it's a big file, you can just link to it on WeTransfer, and we can download it from there. And then we'll feature it on the show, and we will discuss, and it will fill some time, hopefully, and we'll see how long it lasts. It might last one show, it might last 5 shows, it might turn into a behemoth, and we might give it a show of its own.
How long do you want the videos to be?
About 3 to 5 minutes max. Doesn't have to be super long. If it's less than that, that's fine. But just tell us who it is, why it inspired you, what the technology was on there that inspired you, because we want to keep it kind of synth focused.
And there's no particular restriction on era or anything like that?
No, none at all. No. So, I mean, if you were inspired to make electronic music by listening to Johann Sebastian Bach, fine. Tell us why, because we'd be really interested to know.
Rihanna farting in the sink, doesn't matter.
Rihanna farting in the sink, yep. That'd be great.
You know about that.
And she only did it last week, fine. If it inspired you,
whatever
anything
turns you on as an album, you know, we've got people like, here we go, Clement Kotar, Headhunters. So there you go, Clement. Challenge. Give us a short video. Tell us why. If you've got the album with you, that'd be even better, just to see the album. Tell us why you like it. Tell us, was there stuff on the album? This one, I would love to hear. Mike, Phaedra, tell us, send us a video. Tell us, what about that album? What about those people inspired you? Abbey Road, there you go. There's a modular on that. So anyway, that's the new section of the show. We're going to kick it off as soon as we get some entries. So that's the challenge to you. I mean, we'll probably do one. I'm sure we'll probably come up with something, and then we'll play the video. We'll discuss it and talk about it, and that'll kill some time. That's the whole point. No, we
Not
won't
the
be
participation.
Yeah. So James is saying, watch out for copyright strikes. We won't be playing the music, obviously, for obvious reasons. Otherwise, we get told off.
Oh.
I know. It's not a lot we can do about it.
We'll play them on the pub.
We could do that. Yeah. Or we can point people to go and listen to something.
Yeah, because nobody goes there.
No one goes there.
At least even data, even algorithms don't bother going to watch the pub anymore.
No.
There's nothing going on there.
It's all gone.
So we'll be fine.
Gone. Right. So there we go. Synthspirations. That is definitely the name. I will put some contact details up soon. Send those videos in. And Ian J. Cole. There we go. Challenge accepted. Talk, Spirit of Eden. Now, I know Ian J. Cole is not afraid of a camera and recording himself talking, so I expect to see one from you pronto, okay? And especially that, because it's a brilliant album by a brilliant band. So, yeah. There we go. DM Violator from Sergei Marchenko. I hope I said that correctly. So that's what we want. Just tell us what inspired you. And then hopefully we'll get people to listen to those albums and they'll be inspired themselves and we'll spread the knowledge and the joy. Okay, right. Let's move on. Let's talk about some news, shall we? Let's talk about some hardware news. Before we do that, let's play the little promo video so we know what we're talking about and we can hear it. Here he is. Impressed, I have to say. This is the new Korg Multipoly. It is another one of their 37 key keyboards on that same platform. It's a Raspberry Pi compute board based synthesizer, like all the others as well, but this one actually uses a brand new analog modeling engine along with wavetables and wave shaping, so it's kind of like a three-pronged sonic attack, and it looks the business. They've got little end wood cheeks. I thought those would have gone full depth, but they're not. They're just sort of like on the top, but it's clearly calling back to the Korg Monopoly or the Monopoly. A lot of people argue about how you say that name, but you've got these classic oscillators using virtual analog waveforms. You've got digital oscillators using wavetables with up to 64 steps, and then you've got these wave shaper oscillators for, as they say, a little bit of a West Coast vibe. Along with all of that sonic capability, you've got multiple filters that use classic Korg filters and also non-Korg filters based on things like ARP Odysseys, Prophet 5s, Mini Moogs. You've also got multiple 6-stage envelopes, DAH, DSR. We should give a prize, really, for somebody who can tell us exactly what DAH, DSR stands for.
Delay,
attack, hold, delay, sustain, release.
Decay, sustain, release, yeah.
There we go. 5 LFOs, 6 mod processors per voice. The voice cards featuring every component on there is modelled, so the oscillators model, the filters, and you can combine them in many different ways. You've also got motion sequencing 2.0, which featured on, I believe, the ModWave. You've also got Chaos with a Chaos pad. There's those filters, lots of different filter types on there, and you can layer up to 4 programs into a performance, and you can either play those stacked, which just sounds massive. You can play them split, although I struggle to split across a 37-key keyboard, but you can also do this thing called layer rotate, where every note played is a different layer, so you just walk your way through each of the layers. It's incredibly powerful machine. Comes with its own soft case as well, as you can see there. Those lovely wood topped end cheeks and an aluminium top end. And editor librarian software comes in there, loads of stuff. It's going to retail for around €940. That's about 795 of your British pounds, and I think it's about 900 and something US dollars. So it's priced in line with the Mark II wave states, the Mark II mod waves. So yeah, I mean, sounds epic. I mean, Luke's demo there was fantastic. There's a big sort of like 20-minute in-depth thing that they've got going on on their YouTube page. I'm very impressed with this, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on one of these and having a play. But what do you think, gentlemen? Take your pick, whoever wants to go first. Don't all rush.
Kenty.
It sounds great, actually. I do like the sound of this, but I'm going to hold my horses because I've already been slapped in the back of the head for jumping in too quick, and then the SE
you got the
comes
mod
out.
wave, didn't you?
Yeah, and then the SE's come out, and it's like so it's great. I mean, it sounds lovely, but yeah, I'll hang around, I think, and wait for an SE because it gives me more time to save up for the PB12.
This is what I was curious as to why they released this version first. It obviously is a process that works for them, otherwise they probably wouldn't have done it. But given that we know that the SE probably won't be too far behind, and then of course the rack mountable stroke desktop module version, and of course the software plugin, because that's got to be coming down the road as well. I would have thought maybe they would have tried a different tack and said, okay, look, this is a big keyboard with massive sonic design capabilities. Stick it in the 61 first. Let's do the SE or launch it concurrently.
They might have been worried about launching it with a big price tag on it, because obviously the SE is going to cost a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been coming down though, haven't they?
Yeah, fair dues. But I mean, for the initial smack on the market, and they're going, I don't know about that, mate. So come in with the little baby.
Yeah.
Go on.
Thing is,
I've looked at this quite closely now. For the money, some people have been saying that it's too much, for a little itty synth. I don't give a toss about that. I want to have this up here. I don't care about the keyboard being too small and not having aftertouch. Don't care about that because it responds to MPE and it responds to Poly aftertouch. So I could put it here, essentially run it as a separate synth, 60 voices, 4 oscillators per layer, 4 layers at the same time. It's got the the analog, physical modelled oscillators. It's got the wave thingy shaping ones, and it's got wavetable. I love it. I think it's such a good thing. The filters sound good. The controls on it sound good. And guess what? If I want to travel with it, which I think a lot about, I quite like travelling. I can just pick it up, put it in that case, and get it nicked at the airport. But no, I can take it with me. I can actually take it with me, and I should be able to write some things on it. I actually like this, and it's not yet available. If it were, I would be buying it today. I love it. And I much as I like the idea of the 61 note keyboard, they're not Poly aftertouch, they're not MPE, so that and this match made in heaven. I'm going to be getting it. I think it's a really, really good sounding synth.
So
love the controls, by the way, as well.
Yeah, to address that point, I mean, we now know that Korg have licensed the ASM Polytouch keybed because they use it in their new key stage controllers. Maybe there's the possibility that the SE version of this might feature that keybed, because I think that would be a masterstroke, especially in a synthesizer with this much kind of sonic shaping capability, to stick an MPE, well, maybe MPE, but certainly a Poly AT keyboard in there.
Haven't they got that already in? Not the keyboard, but they've got that capability with the wave state as well, haven't they?
How do you mean?
I thought it responded to MPE.
Oh, it'll respond. Yeah, it'll probably respond to Poly 8. I don't know about MPE. I don't think that's quite part of the setup yet. But that's a software upgrade on something like this, isn't it? It's an easy thing to do. But if they're going to bring out, or when they bring out, let's assume they're going to do that because they've done it with everything else. When they bring out the SE version of this, why not stick that Poly Aftertouch 61 keyboard that they've licensed from, unless the license from ASM restricts them in some way. You know, you're not allowed to put it on a proper synthesizer, but you can put it on a controller. These things.
Steve Elbows is saying it's not Poly AT. Sorry, it's not MPE.
Yes,
I
not
thought
MPE.
we read that it was.
No. Poly AT responds
Poly AT,
to.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy with Poly AT.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I misheard that then, Steve. My polls on that.
Yeah.
But I still love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't buy any of the hardware because I didn't like the build quality of the originals, and I just thought I've got a couple of the not the Argos, the modals, and they're nice, but the 37 is just a little bit too small or a little bit too big. It's just. So I wait for the software versions. I'll probably wait for the software version of this if I'm honest. But I'm hoping to get my hands on one of these once they become available, and then we'll be able to sort of take a closer look. But
Twiddling the knobs, I love.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite a detailed interface as well, which is nice. I have, from what I've heard of this and what I've seen and what I've read, it seems like an incredibly well specified machine for £795. That's in the grand scheme of things.
Look at anything else in this sector that has that many voices, that many layers.
Yeah,
69 has as much going on as that. There's not really an awful lot.
I mean, each program offers 4 loopable 6-stage envelopes, 5 LFOs, 6 mod processors. There's a massive effects section in there, and of course there's the chaos physics and the motion sequencing and the XY pad and a cracking little bit of kit. I think Modwave owners might be slightly upset because this is kind of like a Modwave on acid, because it's got those wavetable stuff going. I'm sure that there are different things and people will like them all, but I can see somebody like Wagyu with like each one of them in a rack, and that's getting it to be a big rack. A couple of donations have just come in. Thank you very much indeed, Dina Perlman. You're gonna have to rewind the show and watch it because you'll see. But thank
$10 for getting back.
Yeah, actually, you could do that. Go and watch the first half of the show once we finish here, of course. But thank you ever so much for your donation, and thank you to the Hand of Lenin for his $1.99.
What's he doing donating money? He's got no money left. You forced him. You made him buy a PB12. You're so forceful sometimes.
Terrible.
You're not helping.
Sorry, but thank you very much for that. Oh, sorry, hang on, I've got to do this. Turn that back on. It's got no power saving mode. So thank you very much indeed for your donations there. Most appreciated, as always. Let's see. So that was the Korg Multipoly, harking back to the old Monopoly, but then some more, lots more, in fact. £795, 900 and something $/euros. I think a lot of people have got quite excited about that, and rightly so. Right, where are we? 8:25. We've got a few things to go through. Another piece of interesting hardware news. Now I'm going to have to sort of defer. I saw Jim Glue in the chat earlier, and he's had to go, and I was hoping that he might stick around and pop into the chat and give us a little bit of info on this thing. Again, let me see if I've got I'm sure I've got a video for this one. Yes, here we go. going to stop it there because it does go on for a little bit longer than that. I didn't realise how long that was. But this is the news that we've got a brand new synthesizer box from those wonderful people at Elektron, and I'm just going to try and see if I can get this onto the screen. There we go. It's the Digitone or Digitone. I've heard people call it Digitone and some people call it Digitone. Again, it's one of these arguments that people will have. But apparently it's so the original Digitone, that's what I'm going to call it, was an FM synthesizer, 4-operator FM synthesizer with sequencers and all sorts of wonderful gubbins going on there. This has been given a real shot in the arm. Oh, Jason says it's a Digitone. So, okay, I stand corrected, Mr. Jervis, doff my cap. Digitone it is then. So, Digitone is now not only an FM synthesizer, it's got analog style oscillators, virtual oscillators, of course, and it's got an FM drum machine in there, and of course you've got all the sequencer stuff. And I really don't know enough about these to really give an informed opinion. But I tell you one thing, is it sounds very good. And I know from people that use these a lot, as I said before, Jim Glue almost exclusively uses Elektron boxes, and he absolutely swears by them. And if you listen to any of his EMON performances, they are rather good. So they do some cool things. But yeah, a modular workflow apparently. So that's put me right off now. I was getting quite excited about that. But no, it's... they're very good things, and this is a new one, and it sounds very cool, and I'm sure that people who work in with these things will like them. But I'm just not really that experienced with them. Lots of decent connectivity on the back there as well. A couple of ins and outs, and a headphone socket, full set of MIDI connections and USB. And I know that Jimbo kind of chains his together and uses them all. In conjunction with each other on his EMOM stuff. But yeah, they're very powerful boxes. There's the spec list. So it's a 16-voice polyphony, multiple FM algorithms. It's a 4-operator FM synth engine in there, plus this wavetone engine, the Swarmer, and then the FM drum as well. So you kind of got 4 synthesis machines and lots of other sound shaping capabilities in there as well. 16-note polyphony per step on the MIDI tracks. You've got 4 trigger modes, tracks, velocities, keyboard mode with 36 different scales, sequencers, got lots of stuff on there as well, effects built in. And whilst you guys talk about it, there it is, there's the price, 899 quid, which I don't think is too bad for something that's that powerful, which is pretty good. You guys really aren't into this either, I guess, because I'm not familiar with any of you using these little box things. Andy, what do you think of this?
Digitone? Get out of here. Digitone. Digital. Anyway, whatever it is.
Move on.
Whatever it is. Look, this looks like an incredibly capable box, and it's got a lot of features. It does a lot of stuff that's really good. It would drive me nuts in about 30 seconds because everything about it is menu diving. Everything. It's a very capable machine, but I just can't be, I want everything to be much more exposed than this. But I get why Jim likes it, and if you're of a mind where you've already understood the interface and you've got other boxes that do things a similar way, fill your boots. Not for me, but it sounds okay.
Yeah, I think
it sounds good. 16
great.
channels, 16 tracks.
Yeah,
16 voice polyphony, all the 16s.
Indeed, Mr. Spong, are you a knob twiddling box user?
Not particularly. I know there is a couple of them knocking around, but yeah, not huge on them. But no. they have massive capabilities. They really do.
They have their uses.
Yeah. I'm too much of an old git, essentially.
Yeah. Well, we all are, aren't we? Apparently.
Yeah, too much an old git for it. But I'm loving the sounds it's making, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it's nice to have something that's not, because there's so much stuff that comes out and they're all, it sounds like that because it has that, that old synth type of filters in it, all that. And it's nice to have something come along and goes, no, it's all, you're going to get stuff that's just off.
Yeah.
Just off the planet, and go, yeah, cool, I'll have some of that.
Yeah. We should have got Jason Jervis on to talk about these. Should have thought about that in advance. We'll get Jason on. Don't worry, that's happening.
We will.
That's definitely happening.
There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk in the chat about some old man.
Yeah.
Who, it's not menu diving. It's lots of shortcuts you have to learn. Can be very. Look, I get that. I get it. I really do. I've got these boxes. I do the same. I understand it. And in fact, my favourite of those things is still this. I'm still loving this and exploring and finding new things. Been a bit of a release this week, a new firmware update as well. They're great things. It just doesn't appeal to me. This particular box doesn't appeal to me particularly. I like the sounds, but I'd rather have more knobs. But it's just the way it is. Just the way it is.
But no, it was. I think it got leaked about 10 minutes before the official release, and so everybody got very excited. And then they dropped the actual official announcement and the demos, and lots of people are very happy with that. And right, so I think it sounds great, and I think once you learn its workflow, it's probably a very quick and easy box to manipulate. So
does it come with a desktop plugin? Some sort of control thing.
Don't think so. I'm pretty no, I've not. It's all pretty much hands-on in the box. So yeah, there you go. Digitone 2 available now. Well, I say available now. It's I think you can pre-order for $899 of your UK pounds. So that's probably just over €1,000 / dollars, something like that. Right. Okay. Let's move on to what have we got? That's another piece of. We have some weeks we don't have any hardware news whatsoever. This one's probably the least exciting of the bunch, and probably the least exciting thing we've had so far. But this is the new Prophet 10 Special Edition. To celebrate 50 years of Sequential this year, they've released a very special edition of their fairly recently released Rev 4 Prophets. And they're just doing the Prophet 10 in this. So this will retail for €5,555. I haven't got the exact British price on that, but it's going to be, I would say, like 499 something. I don't know, but around that. What's different about the Prophet 10 Special Edition? What makes the Special Edition special? Well, let's tell you. You can see the big change there is the type of wood. There's a lot of wood in a Prophet, and the wood that's been used here is lace wood. Now, lace wood isn't a particular tree. It is a particular grain pattern that can be obtained from a number of trees. So they've chosen the lace wood design. It's kind of got I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like hammerite from some angles, but they tell me it's this lacewood pattern on the wood. What else is different? Well, there is. Let me see if I can flick through the pictures here. No, where have they gone? Here we go. This button. This is the one I want. So there we go. So you get a special badge on the side that says Prophet 10 Special Edition. So you have new wood, new badge. You get a dust cover, an embroidered dust cover. There it is. That gets thrown into the package as well. Nice soft underside, must be smooth and fluffy. And then the Prophet 10 Special Edition and the sequential emblems, get my mouth working, are stitched onto that. And what they don't show a picture of, but I can tell you also get, is you get a certificate of authenticity. And that's it, kids. There is no other difference. There's no internal difference. There's no functionality difference. It's just a different type of wood, a special badge on the front, a dust cover, and a certificate for roughly €1,000 more than a regular Prophet 10. And they're making 150 of them, and that's it. They'll all be gone. And I imagine that the people buying these will just be the collectors. I can't see anyone in their right mind wanting to buy one of these when you can just buy a regular one for about €1,000 less. And it's a look, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely sounding synthesizer. I love the Prophet sound, and I really like what they've done with the Rev 4. And it's got a lot of power and functionality in it, but they didn't put stereo outputs on here, which would have been a real boon. None of that stuff at all. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this worth another €1,000, Mr.
May I?
Spong? Oh, well, no. Go Kent first. No, okay. Is that it?
Go on, Kent.
Is that the
No,
subtitle?
I hate. Oh, that wood. Feck off. Oh God. If you leave a Mini out in the rain, it goes like that.
So-
no, as soon as if I bought one of them, I go, right, where's my sander?
Sander.
That's coming off. Now, this, all right, 50th anniversary. Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you want to make it special? Put SSM chips in it.
There you go.
You want to make it special? The Prophet 10 never had the SSMs. The Prophet 10 had gone to Curtis. And
What
at the
about-
end, and they go Prophet 10 like it's a completely different synth. It's not. It's two Prophet 5s.
Stuck together, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
What
Yeah.
would have been more appropriate is if they brought out a dual manual version of the new Prophet 10 and said made out of those and charged an extra £1,000 because all they would have
make
to
more
do,
sense. Yes.
It would, it would just make more sense as a whole. It's just, I think it's an odd thing, and it certainly plays into this sort of increasing perception that, you know, some synth manufacturers are, shall we say, extracting the urine.
Well, they're playing the long game. Maybe in 30 years, that's more sought after than the other reissue of the Prophet 10, because it was the special one, right? And hopefully somebody might have rubbed it down and stained and waxed it properly by then. You know, because at the end of the day, you're paying what, £1,000 for a soft case, a slightly altered badge, and some really shit wood. It's awful. Ugh, God, no. So, yeah, okay, but you're going to make it special. Make it special. Don't, I don't know, dip it in some weird gear and just go, there you go, mate.
Yeah.
It's still the same bloody synth. It's just, you know, £1,000 cheaper.
I have to ask myself one question: would Dave Smith have greenlit this? Yeah,
He might set fire to it.
Yeah, but we'll never know, and that's probably not a
No.
fair question to ask. But I just kind of think that might not have been the way that Dave would have celebrated it. Anyway, Andrew, I know you're chomping at the bit here.
Go on.
Not chomping exactly. I'm really disappointed with this. The wood, which is probably the most expensive item here, looks like it's MDF or something. It looks cheap and nasty. It's got very angular corners and edges, so you're gonna be banging them. You know, if this is the expensive part of it, why would you leave it looking the same? You know, it looks. I prefer the graining and the standard of the wood on the originals. I much prefer them. Much prefer them. I pay not to have this wood because it looks awful here, and they've not done anything to make it feel like it's a premium something. And then putting that to one side, I think you're right. This deserved, if it was going to come out as an anniversary for this, it deserved a second keyboard. Why didn't they do the second keyboard? Why didn't they go stereo? They could have charged even more and done that and had something iconic that people would have really thought about going and getting. Because the Prophet 10, I know Kent doesn't like them particularly, but I love the sound of them. They are astonishing sounding things. So they haven't done an awful lot to keep the gasoline away from the fires of exploitative pricing, have they?
No, not at all. And as Wagyu said, I mean, if they'd have done this in ebony, I mean, look, Arturia, I don't want to bang their drum again, but you know, they did the noir version of the Matrix Brute, and it looks. You can't really see it in the light here, but it looks amazing. They did the noir version of the Poly Brute. I think an ebony case on this would actually look quite nice. I don't think it would certainly justify that price difference, but it would look quite nice.
Indian rosewood.
Or Indian rosewood.
Yeah, something that looks
Brazilian rosewood, but you can't use Brazilian rosewood, but something like Now we're going to sit down here and talk about all different types of wood, Mrs.
But it does feel like it's a lost opportunity, and it's someone in the marketing department has said, "I know, let's do this and charge this much for it," and it doesn't.
Yeah, walnut.
Not only doesn't it look like it's worth that money, it doesn't look as nice as the original. As the you can buy a standard. What can you get a standard Prophet 10 for now? The new
euros, about €4,500. So that's what's that? 3,999 UK.
So that's about £1,000 less.
Yeah.
Why would you get this? It doesn't look nice.
It's a very expensive, softy, fluffy cover.
Yeah.
Clearly.
That's
I
what
mean,
tea
look,
towels are for.
I guess the target market for this are the collectors.
Made from swan's feet.
The people that are going to buy this are the
150
ones that are going to stick it on the shelf in their studio, or maybe in their lounge or something, and it'll be a talking piece. It'll be I don't
People
think
go, why does the wood look so shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
a
you're gonna see
talking
any
point.
of these,
At least
out
polish
on the
it.
road.
Do something.
Yeah, sand that. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll do it.
Oops.
Special KSR
Museums,
service.
yeah. There you go. Quote of the day.
Museums would
I love wood.
Museums would only want the 2 manual. They'd want the original.
Yeah.
They're not going to want this.
That would just been so good
why?
to see a double manual one, just for the shits and giggles, because it
Yeah.
was an obscene looking keyboard.
Do you want me to bring one up?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
They are. I mean, they're massive, and they break a lot. So
No.
No?
That's horse poo.
Is it?
No, yeah, no.
people owners keep telling me, "Oh, it keeps breaking down."
There's more in it to break down. So there's a
Didn't
law
they
of
suffer
averages.
from
involved.
overheating?
No, that's horse.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't overheat, for God's sake. You see how
Okay.
much space there is inside the Prophet 10? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mate, you could hide 3 piglets inside
Probably,
a Prophet 10. Honest to
yeah.
God, without
That
touching anything.
explains the sound I was getting.
Yeah, that's where the squeaking comes from. The Rev 2s, on the other hand, fell over by...
Oh, yeah. Well, we know.
if the sun come up too early, they go,
Yeah.
right, that's it, mate.
Yeah.
And one voice will go.
Yeah. Any day of the
Look,
week with a Y on the end. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Rev 3s were reliable. Once you got the 3.3, very, very reliable. Prophet
But-
10, pretty much, Rev 3.2 and Rev 3.3 versions.
But the Rev 3 just didn't have that sonic quality. That
No,
the
once it
ones
was all
in the twos-
Curtis, it lost
Yeah.
a lot of its
Lost that
oomph
character.
that the Rev
See,
2s had.
I didn't realise it didn't have the SSMs.
No, it never had SSMs. It came out later, and that's what they should have done. If they're going to do celebrating the Prophet, bring out a Prophet 10 with SSM. Whether they clone it, whatever they do, and have that original Prophet 1, Prophet 2 sound, which is what everybody knows and loves on most of the records. They're not all Rev 3s. That's because they're later.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
So-
Missed opportunity, but if you want one of those, if you really do, they're available to order now. And say the Euros price is 5,555. Obviously, it's going to be a bit less, probably around 4,899 or something with the UK, and the US is probably very much equivalent to the Euro price at the moment. So anyway, we've only got about 15 minutes left, so we're going to whiz through some quickies, if you don't mind. First of all, we've got a new sound library for Cherry Audio's Atomica, and this is from our friend James Dyson. He very graciously let us have a play with this a few days ago, and there's some amazing sounds. James, I hope you're not going to get me a copyright strike if I do this.
That in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences.
I'm just going to skip forward. Here we go. But because I don't want to get that whole War of the Worlds thing going on. But there's some amazing sounds in here, and James's video really goes well with them. It really exploits that Polyvox clone very, very nicely. If you want to buy this sound set, you can do so directly from James. So if you go and find the video, which is under, as you can see there, James Dyson, not the man that invented those strange vacuum cleaners, but our very own James Dyson, who is a brilliant sound designer working for the likes of Cherry Audio and Modal and many others. All you got to do is just send him a tenner. £10 via PayPal. There's his email address in the description of the video. You send him a tenner via PayPal, and very quickly he will send you that sound pack. And all you got to do with this is drag and drop that zip file onto the synth, and it installs itself. It's as simple as that. and it will join a whole host of other James Dyson sounds that already reside in the Atomica synth. If you want to learn more about Atomica, go back a few episodes. We did one of our regular interviews with the guys from Cherry Audio, talking about what inspired that synth. And go and check those out. So that's from our friend James Dyson for the Cherry Audio Atomica. The sound set is called The Broadcast. It's out now. It's
Great
just
sound
10
set.
quid. Yeah,
it's a great
absolutely.
sound set and a great
Yeah.
synth. I love Atomica, and I love this sound set.
Another quick one for us. Addictive drums. I was going to say additive drums. Well, it could be.
Okay.
Addictive drums 2.5 has just been released, and we're now starting to see all of these drum sample libraries now kind of following suit with Toontrack with Superior Drummer, which I believe is one of those products that actually has a very appropriate name. It's probably the most superior acoustic drum plugin out there. We've got Addictive Drums 2. There's going to be an update to another piece of software I can't really talk about at the moment, but these guys have done a fantastic job. This is a much better interface. It's been completely redesigned. There's new effects and EQs. There's new sounds in there. Very fast workflows. Works brilliantly with e-drums. So if, like me, you're an e-drummer, you just hook this up to your laptop and you can select your kit and it will just automatically map everything correctly. And they sound amazing, and it's not a lot of money. If you want to buy this right now, it is 139 quid. That's the custom collection. You get 3 drum kits, 3 MIDI packs, and 3 extra kit pieces included with there. You can also do custom kits with custom XL and custom XXL. So lots of ways to do your collection there. If you want everything, 720 quid, but there's a lot of stuff in there, and they sound really, really good. So yeah, if you like acoustic drum plugins, Addictive Drums from XLN Audio is out now to buy and sounds very good. I don't know did we have a video for that? I can't remember if we did. Oh, we did. Let's have a quick listen to this.
Okay.
The Addictive Drums 2 update offers a new look, plenty of workflow improvements, and several new features. The new trig gate lets you mangle your drum sound and still get perfect gate action on every drum hit. No need to dial in threshold settings. The gate is perfectly triggered by the internal MIDI drum notes. Make your drums hit harder with a click of a button. The new Rocket Boost mode adds a new level of thump and attack to your beats, fueled by a multiband compression tailored for drums. The EQ now has clear real-time visual feedback of the signal across all frequencies. Settings are clearly visible for easier and more precise adjustments. Modify and reimagine your beats with a powerful beat transformer. Change performances entirely with a twist of a knob, without having to touch the MIDI. Swing accents to add some serious groove. Or add the perfect human feel with just the right amount of sloppy timing and randomness.
We all like a bit of sloppiness in our drums, don't we? But yeah, you get the idea. This is very quick and easy to shape the sound to what you want very nicely. I really like this. I'm starting to use this a little bit more than Superior Drummer. Not more than I would normally use this, but Superior Drummer is like always my go-to. But yeah, this is very good from
like
XLN Audio. Nice little quickie one for you there. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, another quickie for us, because we ought to give this a mention, because I know a lot of people are getting excited about this, but Behringer have pulled one of their classic, here's a pallet of boxes ready to go out to customers. So I guess we're going to see the Behringer Wave, which is their clone or their facsimile or whatever you want to call it of the PPG Wave. Don't have a price for it yet, but I think it's going to be somewhere between sort of like $699, $899. But it's going to be very keenly priced, as Behringer gear always is. And I'm kind of interested to see how they've done this, because the PPG is a very it's a synth that's very dear to my heart. I've always wanted one. The Groove Synthesis Third Wave is a fantastic take on that whole thing, but of course it is not particularly cheap. So this will certainly satisfy that end of the market.
There's
so
going
I'm
to be a
looking
lot
forward.
of people will want this, and
I think so.
Understandably so. Understandably so.
Absolutely, and I believe that the LM drum has finally kind of broken into proper beta testing stages. So we're going to see that Lin clone fairly soon. And wasn't there the BMX, which was going to be the DMX clone, but based on a very similar form factor to that Lin drum clone that they're doing. So yeah, some interesting stuff. More digitally type stuff. Rather than the analogy type stuff. But yeah, looking forward to listening to what that sounds like, and then we can make some judgments there. But that picture from Behringer, when you see that picture of boxes on the pallets, you know it's going to be starting to hit the shops fairly soon. So looking forward to some demo videos. Maybe Patrick will do a decent one on this one. Right, there you go. So that's the Behringer news out of the way. What else have we got here? This was interesting, and we can't spend too much time on this, but there's been this database of every synthesizer from 1896 to 2024 created, and I would play you the video, but basically it's a 20-minute video. It's a data set, and I don't profess to know exactly how data sets work, but this guy has, or I'm assuming it's just the one individual. Let's have a quick look here. So it's on GitHub. And so you've got this list. So it starts off with the Telharmonium, which we all know is probably the first ever kind of electronic synthesizer. And it goes all the way through the years. And so you get to 1950s, 1960s very quickly with things like the Chamberlains and the Wurlitzers. And then you start seeing the stuff from Korg. So it's synthesizers, drum machines, samplers. He's not included modular. And there's a very good reason for that, because especially with Eurorack, there's just so much of it that he thinks that will probably...
1,600 different modules at the moment.
It's just bonkers.
Sorry, 16,000.
But this is a very comprehensive list. So it lists the year, the name, the make, the model, the type, a whole bunch of other stuff. How many, how it generates its sounds, how many of these things, how many keys it's got, all this kind of stuff. All of this data is in there. And the purpose of this, I guess, is to pull off metrics and analytics to say, what synthesizers we're doing with a certain type of use in a particular time frame, and you'll be able to pick out all sorts of graphs and things. And if you watch the video, and I'll just skip through here, so yeah, you can do stuff like this. So bloomin' adverts, you get the idea. You can pull off all sorts of information. So if you're into that kind of research part of the history of synthesizers, this I think is an incredibly useful thing, and it's free.
Want to defend beyond.
Indeed. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, if you want that, by the way, it is. Let's get the address here. It's on GitHub.com. Let me get the address and let me stick it in. You won't be able to click on this, but you'll be able to pause the video and then type this in. So here we go. There it is. That's how you get to the actual database itself, which is in a comma-separated values file. Pop that into Excel or whatever data crunching tool that you use. I think they provide a freeware one on there as well. But go and have a look at that, and you'll be able to... I know a few people who would actually make very good use of that at some point. But there we go. Just thought I'd get that one in there. Should we talk about something FM?
Yeah, why not?
Because we haven't, I need to indulge myself because I think we've spoken far too much about other things. One of the things that I've always looked for in software, so that I can stick it on my laptop when I'm not here, I don't have to worry about not having the hardware with me, is a genuine, authentic recreation in software of Yamaha's second generation, or was it third generation? Third generation 4-operator FM, featured in the DX11, the TX81Z, the V50s, and so on. And Sonic Bits have been doing this for a little while, but they've released now a full version, because they've been doing it as a free version. They've now got a full version. It's only about €29. And this is exactly what it is, but it's all of that and more. So you've got all of the classic, the 8 waveforms that the TX81Z had. It only had 4 operators, but it goes beyond that. And apparently the paid-for version has got a prototype of importing original TX81Z/DX11/V50 patches. But there is also a free version. Yeah, $29 for the full version. But there's also a free version called Exact Free, which is a very ingenious title.
Marvellous.
Exact Light. So I get it wrong. Exact Light, which has pretty much all of the features as the paid-for version, but obviously cut down in certain ways. And there's no strings attached with that. That free version. It's free forever. But
I downloaded this earlier.
Did you? What did you think?
The interface is absolutely brilliant. It's a really, really good, very simple, really powerful interface, and you're sculpting sounds with it in ways that most FM you don't really. It doesn't. It's not always the easiest to wrap your head around. This really is. It's a stunningly clever piece of coding. This I love what they've done with it, and yes, worth $29 bucks any day of the week. It really is.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Another thing. This
great as well.
Kent, you might like this. I'm pretty sure Steve Elbows would like this, because this is the second sound pack from Expressive E. Of course, Expressive E are those lovely people who created the Osmos. And I think this is a very clever kind of business model. Design a huge amount of presets, not for your synthesizer, but for other people's synthesizers that you can use your controllers and keyboards on. So this is, the first one they did was for Phase Plant, and this one is for Yuhi's Hive 2. 300 MPE presets created by Expressive E. You don't have to have an Osmos to take advantage of these. You can actually use anything that sends MPE data. So let's have a quick look at the video, because there was one, I think. Here it is. So we'll leave it there because it goes on for a little bit, that one. But as you can see, they're using an Osmos, they're using a Push 3, and it sounds really good, and it takes advantage of all of those MPE features of those controllers. You can buy this pack either with or without Yuhi's Hive 2 plugin. So if you already have the plugin, you can buy the sound set for, I think, at the moment, €39. Just have a double check on that one. But if you haven't got the plugin, you can buy it with the plugin for just $99 at the moment.
And it's not just Hive you get for that; it's the whole suite, isn't it?
You get the plugin and the bundle of sounds. But if you just want the bundle of sounds, it's €39. So yeah, 3 sound banks, each with 100 presets in, and those sounded, I mean, very good. I know they're going to pick some of the best sounding ones, but yeah, I like that a lot. And that's quite a tempting price. I mean, Yuhi's plugins are unquestionably incredibly good, especially when Howie Scar's involved in programming most of those presets. Terribly clever man that he is. But yeah, this is. I thought this was a rather good little business model. What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. All day long.
Does it make you want to keep your Osmos?
Well, I can't if I'm going to get the PB12. So
that's true.
I have my Rollies.
Yes.
So
this work with the Rollies. Yeah.
I have been looking at the Osmos again because I've been seeing them
Kent's
come out.
one.
I've been seeing them coming down in price, shall we say? And I'm still kind of tempted by them, and this kind of sound set makes it much more likely that I'd get it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
nice sound set.
Well,
So
for me, that's what it really needed, funnily enough, because I didn't really get on with the sounds that were available for the Osmos. Me and those sounds weren't gelling too well.
So yeah, nice. So if you've got Hive 2, this is brilliant. If you so that's it. Yeah, it's normally 149 for the package with Hive 2 and the sounds, but you can get it for 99 if you already own Hive 2. Let me just tick that box there. All of a sudden, it's normally $59.99 for the sounds, but $39.99 at the moment. So it's not a bad price for 300 brilliantly programmed sounds by a company who know clearly what they're doing when it comes to programming MPE
I think
stuff.
I've got Hive. I must check. I think I've got Hive.
Yeah, you must have.
I'll check.
Hive or Hives? Have you got Hives?
One or the
Might
other.
have
Or
Hives,
chives.
might have Hives.
Chives. Yeah.
Do you know, still to this day, I mean, how long ago was that advert for, was it Philadelphia cream cheese? And they started putting stuff in it, didn't they? And she used to go, chives. Do you remember that advert?
Yes,
No?
I
Yeah,
do.
you remember it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew's giving me a puzzled look.
You go, I
Anyway,
think he
we'll
dreamt
move on.
it. Yeah.
Yes, we'll move on because we've massively run over time here.
We
Did
have,
we
but
have
we've got
any-
one more thing to mention.
Let's see what we've done that.
Third down from the top.
Do you think I'm looking at the list? Oh yes, that. Yeah. It's absolutely. Let me bring this in. So you might remember last week we were joined by Peter James Stephen, who was helping me out on the road. Actually, I was probably helping him more than anything because he brought the bulk of the gear. It was Peter's idea this year to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Emulator 2. So we took out to the great British public in 3 different locations: Cambridge, Sheffield, and Bristol. It was kind of the first official ProSynth Network tour. And what happens on tour stays on tour. But one thing that happened on tour that won't stay on tour because Peter's offering it up for the benefit of the Bob Moog Foundation and their fundraising efforts. So here is Peter on the right-hand side with the legend that is Dave Rossum. And Peter's jacket was getting a lot of attention at the shows. And it's this wonderful, I think it's a single-breasted jacket. I think it's a 48 chest, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
48R, yeah.
48 regular, there you go. So it's too big for me. Well, certainly in the length, who misses. But it's a Pac-Man jacket, and it's brilliant. And he's offering that up, and I think the bids are up to $50 at the moment. If you want to bid on that, you need to go and join us on our Facebook page, and then find the post with this picture on it, and put in your bid for this jacket, and all the money that is raised will go to the Bob Moog Foundation. Of course, we are big fans of and have been helping out with their latest raffle. This will just help top up the coffers a little bit. So, if you want that jacket and you want to spend some money and give it to the Bob Moog Foundation, you could possibly win that. So go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/@ProSynthNetwork, and you too could be wearing that amazing Pac-Man jacket, and it'll be washed and cleaned and dry laundered or dry cleaned or whatever. Yeah, so you get all that. And I think we have now touched on everything we were going to speak about. But let me just get rid of that picture because I'm sure Peter's rather embarrassed about his mug being shoved up there for all that time. What a show!
Yeah.
Ben Edwards, up 2,500 demonstration in their house. That
I'm
was
just
rather
glad to
special.
see it's still working.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a magnificent machine, and a magnificent owner, and a magnificent restorer as well. Of course, we can say that. But yeah, so if you join the show after the first hour, Dina Perlman, then go and rewind the show because you will love it. That was a really, really cool thing to experience. Now, talk amongst yourselves. Well, because I was supposed to at some point upload a very special image, so I'm going to try and do that now, and I'm going to pad and talk while I'm doing this. This is an incredible skill that you have to learn when you're presenting live shows. You do two things at once. Yeah. You sort of you talk and you waffle, and You get the thing done that you need to get done, but nobody really knows that you've been doing that in the background. So it brings us to an announcement that I've kind of teased over on our Facebook page, but we've got another guest in just 2 weeks' time. Not next week, but the week after. I am so excited about this guy because, again, he's been on the show before. He's an absolute darling. He's a wonderful human being. He's also a sickeningly talented musician whose band, Frost, have just released their... I can't remember what album it is. Fifth or sixth, I can't remember. Anyway, it's called Life in the Wires. It's a double album. It is utterly brilliant. It features this guy plus Nathan King, John Mitchell, and the brilliant Craig Blundell on drums. We've got Jem Godfrey coming back on the show, and I'm so excited. So yeah, Jem's going to be back on the show in 2 weeks' time. To tell us all about the album and his live rig, because as you can see there, he swapped out a whole bunch of his stuff for a whole bunch of small Korgs, which of course we were talking about. So it'd be very interesting to hear his take on the Multipoly in a couple of weeks' time, and whether that's going to make it into his rig, and how he programmed his entire live set into, I think it's 3 Korg wave states, which I think is a pretty impressive thing. And there'll be some Fairlight chatter as well, because Jem was in possession about a year or two ago. He took possession of a Series 3 Fairlight. So we'll be talking about that and reminiscing about all that stuff. So yeah, Jem Godfrey, 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. I'll have some of that. So make sure you like the page or like the channel, subscribe to it. Hit the bell. That's the important bit. So subscribe to it, hit the bell when you get a notification.
Do you think we could get Manny to just pop in as well? Because he's a C15. I know that the two of them would have a lot to talk about as well.
The only problem with that is that Manny's generally working at the time the show is on, and he'll nip in sort of like during his nature break.
As he's letting something set and so on now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Before he's drilling. Anyway, so...
hiding the body.
I know he's been in Japan recently as well, and he's been at Yamaha. So I don't know what he's doing there. That generally means that he's up to something. So we need to ask him.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Got on the wrong plane again.
We'll pin him down.
You've been sending me pictures, the naughty boy, of Yamaha thing. Not that sort of stuff. Well, I mean, for me it's porn, but it's Yamaha porn. Stuff that has been secreted away in the corners. Porn, mate. Well, yeah, quite.
Yeah.
So, 2 weeks' time, Jem Godfrey, cannot wait. But we had a great guest this week. If you've joined us late, please do go back and rewind the show, go and watch that bit. And I will clip out that ARP 2500 demo that he did, because that's just brilliant. And we'll stick that in the shorts as well. Gentlemen, we have massively overshot, which at my age is pretty difficult to actually achieve. But thank you to everyone that joined the show. Thank you again also to Wagyu. He's just bought a regen thanks to my great unboxing vid. Are you being serious? I mean, 2 reasons. Are you being serious? Have you bought a Synclavia regen? And secondly, did you buy it because of my great unboxing vid? I don't think so.
Well, it depends on how he's using the word great in that context.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't encourage anybody to.
It was a good. I keep telling you this. It was a great.
No, it wasn't. It was awful.
It was, because it showed what anyone else's experience would be. It was real. I loved that. I loved that about it.
Well, people can go and make their own minds up. I'd rather they didn't, but people can go because it's on the channel somewhere.
Yeah, like people are very careful about how many cables they buy now.
Indeed, yes. That's one of our best performing videos. Is your Behringer System 55?
Well, there's nothing funnier than watching an old man make a big mistake, is there?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's the funniest vid ever.
Yeah.
I love
Steve Piccaro's show is still number one by a country mile and more, along with Mick McNeil. We're going to get Mick back on. I've already been speaking to Mick, and Mick is desperate to come back on and have a chat and a natter. So that'll be good. So cool. We will get some more guests on. But as I said before, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot early doors, because when we started doing this, it was literally just as COVID started, and so everyone's at home, nobody's going out, and we were able to get all sorts of wonderful guests. Now they're all back working, they're all on the road, and they're very, very busy. So we will try and get them as and when we can. But yeah, we had a brilliant one today. We've got another great one in 2 weeks' time. And we're getting close to Christmas, guys. So can I just remind you that we will be doing our annual awards show towards the end of the year, sort of Christmas Eve time, and then we'll be doing a sort of best of on New Year's Eve, or not actually on New Year's Eve, but a New Year's Eve type show. So get your thinking caps on, start making lists of your favourite hardware and software synths and other bits and bobs.
It's easy.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah.
On the sleep mode. So yeah, brilliant.
Worth every penny.
Worth every. I mean, literally all that money to do that. I can't lie. It was the first thing that I did. I powered it up, turned it on, and I thought, oh, I've got to. And I can't remember what I typed in first. It wasn't a rude word though. It might have just been
really.
Rob. Yeah, it might have just been Rob.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. But I am gonna try and do something with that hopefully soon.
Okay.
I want to do a thing with all of the brutes, which I now believe I own the majority of. So,
what ever made?
No, not quite that, but one.
No, that's Thai, isn't it?
Yeah. Now I've got that Mini Brute 2, not the Mini Brute 2, the Mini Brute SE working. So I've got that. I've got the Mini Brute 2, got the Poly Brute 12, Matrix Brute, Drum Brute. I think that's what I've got around.
And he's an absolute brute.
Yeah. Haven't got a Micro Brute. Need to get a Micro Brute. Anyway, that was a great show. Thank you very much indeed for your company, as always, gentlemen. And thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you for joining us and sticking with us. And if you were attracted here by our lovely guest, and who wouldn't be, then thank you for joining us. And make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified of those shows as they come out. And also don't forget to join us on our socials, particularly Facebook, where that's the most active of our social media platforms, where if you join up there, all you got to do is answer 3 very simple questions to prove that you're not a bot. And if you join that page, you can then make a bid on Peter's Pac-Man jacket, of the proceeds, all of which will go to the Bob Moog Foundation. And don't forget the Bob Moog Foundation raffle that closes on Monday of next week at midnight Eastern US time. And you've got to remember this is a little bit awkward because in the UK and in Europe, our clocks go back this Sunday. So that makes us an hour closer to the US. So don't get that mixed up. So midnight or 23:59 Eastern daylight time in the US, because they go back a week after us. It's really confusing for me at work. But yes, please go and see the Bob Moog Foundation. You can buy tickets at this very address. You can donate. You can buy merch at that address. And you can shop at the online store at that address. But we've already put out 2 brilliant videos that bloke down there made. And there's a third one. The third one is on our Patreon channel. So if you're a Patreon subscriber or a YouTube channel member, you have exclusive video, a special video that Andrew did especially just for you lovely people as a reward. That will go public at midnight on the 28th. So just as it ticks over from the 27th, so it'll be available to everyone for the last day. Give you that last little push, that last little reminder to go and buy your raffle tickets, and you could win a 1970, was it 72?
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, sort of early mid-70s Mini Moog Model D, completely restored by that guy there. Him. And signed by the living legend that is Peter Gabriel. And each ticket will cost you either $25 or 20 of your British pounds. And you too could be twiddling on a Mini Moog anytime soon.
And not just a Mini Moog. It's the best sounding Mini Moog I have ever heard. And
if you don't believe it,
it's a little
watch the videos.
sweetheart.
Seriously,
it's a little sweetheart.
Stunning. It's stunning.
It's a stonker, so go and buy your tickets. And even if you don't win, you'll be supporting a fantastic organisation. You know what Michelle does with the BMF, and what Dina does with the Alan R. Perlman Foundation. We have to support these things. They are doing fantastic work. So please do.
This is the history of who we are.
Exactly,
and
why we're here.
It's the start of it all. So support them.
Just remember, I know I keep saying I'm going to shut this show down. I've just remembered that Dean has just announced her first residency. They've got, so go and check out the Alan R. Perlman Foundation for all the news on the lucky winner, should I say, or the specially chosen individual who has got the first of the Alan R. Perlman Foundation residencies, where they'll get to work in the studio for about a week, all expenses paid. So yeah, it's a great thing that's being done there. So please go and support these organisations, and watch out for that video coming out on Monday that Andrew has done. Everybody can see it from that moment onwards, and we wish Michelle the best of luck. She's managed to reopen. She reopened. Yes, it is. She reopened on Saturday. I keep remembering all these things. She reopened the Mogueseum on Saturday last week. So if you're in Asheville, North Carolina, please go and visit and just help them stay, because they're doing very important work. And now we will say goodbye. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to our admins in the chat who've been looking after that very well indeed. Thank you all for participating in the chat, for watching the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're here every Friday. Hit the like and subscribe button, ring that bell. We'll be back next Friday with more news, and then 2 weeks' time we've got Jem Godfrey. We will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Au revoir and goodbye.